Hello and welcome back to the Brew Interviews, the only podcast where attaining mediocrity is seen as a victory. I am Robbie, and joining me as always via the internet is my best friend Lauren. It is episode 12, and this week we're going to start off with some brew news, and then it's all about IPAs. What is an IPA? How are you supposed to enjoy an IPA? And why does it always burn when IPA lot? All these questions answered and more. This week on the Brew Interviews.
The Brew Interviews, coast to coast, brews, faves, and more with Lauren and Robbie.
So how you been, Lauren?
That was a really good intro, Robbie. I like the ending.
Thank you.
Oh, I've been really good this week, Robbie. My boss is on vacation at work, so I didn't have to worry about that. And I wasn't super busy. Like, I probably could have been more productive, but I wasn't, because I was trying to promote our podcast a lot.
That's good.
And actually, I'm super pumped because we finally got some non-prompted feedback from a listener.
Non-prompted? You mean non-close friend feedback?
Yes. Well, all the feedback that we've been getting are from close friends and family. And finally somebody was like, hey, we really dig your podcast. And it happened to be another beer podcast, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, but people in the attic.
Oh, your upstairs neighbors are being cray?
People in the attic, yep.
Yeah. People in the attic, upstairs neighbors. Well, we both have them. Anyways, this beer podcast called Brew Roots started following us, or at least reached out and was like, hey, we like your podcast. And so I immediately was like, all right, let me listen to you. And literally their first podcast episode is them interviewing Smutty Nose Brewery, which is right down the road. So A, I'm super pumped that it's a local brewery, and B, I'm super pumped that like another beer podcast liked us, because here we are just talking into the universe with like no feedback. Like, I think we're funny, but like somebody else does too. Cool.
It's validation.
Yes.
Validation.
And then, but like the passion that they brought out in their interviews, like just from Smutty Nose, I was like, all right, cool. Like, let me listen to the next one. And like the one that really stood out was this, like the guy, Matt, who's one of the hosts. It's Matt and Emily. And they interview this couple who's like from Northeast Mass, who just started this cidery. Is that what you call it when you make cider? A cidery?
Sure.
Anyways, they just started making cider, and it's called Saintly Cider. And I don't drink cider because it's really sweet. Like, every cider I've had is like really sweet. But they make apparently like a really dry cider. And listening to the owner, Caleb, talk, like, he talked with such passion about what he's our age. Like, his wife Emily is from New Hampshire. Like, she grew up near like Lebanon, New Hampshire or something. She went to UNH. Like, I went to UNH, so like there's a connection. And it's like he just talked with such passion about this cider. Like, I'm already ready to go maybe Sunday and like find where I can do it. Like, I think maybe 40 minutes away is a place, like Amesbury, Mass, is the closest place to me to find it. But I'm super, like, just listening to their interview, like, made me so excited to try this beer. So, like, if you are really interested in the beer aspect of this podcast, like, check out their podcast, because they're really cool, and they're local to, like, the Northeast. So any of our Northeast listeners, I think, would find them really interesting.
You've never had a dry cider?
Well, I have, but, like, not one that was memorable enough for me to be like, oh, this was that cider. Like, a lot of ciders I have are like really, they're not super dry.
What was the one? I remember I bought that one from Brewtopia, and I gave you the bottle. It's that big dark brown bottle.
Yeah, it's in my bedroom on my shelving. I have so much shelving full of beer in my apartment. It's kind of embarrassing.
That shit was really
Champlain?
good.
Was it Champlain?
It might have been. That shit was really good.
North something. I don't know. North Country.
It's been over a year.
Yeah, that's true. There are some good ones out there. I really like the Citizens ginger cider that they make.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, I tend to not drink ciders because I think they're going to be sweet. Like, I'll always ask for a sample of the cider because that's fine. Like,
I love a
I
good
like
cider.
to put Fireball in my cider and drink it. But, like,
You're just an alcoholic. There's a difference.
yeah, I guess so. But he just spoke so passionately about this cider, like, and I absolutely always want to support local business. And they bought like a fucking yellow VFW van to like, they self-distribute. So like he drives all of his deliveries around in this van. It's really neat. It's so cool.
Did you say VFW?
Did I say VFW?
You mean VW?
Yes, thank you.
Not the veterans of foreign wars?
Wow. All right. I had a prior engagement where I did some drinking before this. Podcast,
Yeah.
so.
We were both there.
Yeah.
So, what are you drinking this week, Lauren?
Since we are doing an episode all about IPAs, I thought that I would start at the low end of the totem pole, and not by flavor wise or anything. I just mean like alcohol, like ABV wise. And I'm drinking a Session IPA. It's the Southern Hemisphere Session IPA from Sierra Nevada. I bought this beer because a few weeks ago, I went to Target and I was going to buy a 12 pack of the Stone assorted bottles. Yeah. And I picked up the cardboard and I had a basket in one hand that was filled with like seltzer things. So it was kind of heavy. So I was like carrying it in my other hand, and the cardboard ripped. And I fucking and it dropped to the floor, and they smashed everywhere, and it was really embarrassing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it was terrible. And so I like went and found someone. I was like, oh, I spilled some beer, and I smelled like beer really bad. I was like, oh, hope I don't get pulled over on my way home. So I went back to go get that same pack because I really wanted it, because I had like the Tangerine Express, and like it was an all IPA party pack or whatever. And they didn't have any fucking left, and I was like, God damn it, I wanted a good filler beer. So they had an all IPA pack of the Sierra Nevada in cans. So
it's good too.
Yeah, that's my story about why I'm drinking this Session IPA.
Awesome.
So a little later in the episode, I will explain Session IPAs. But right now, I'm going to tell you that this is very hoppy and very light and very crisp.
It's good. That's what you want from an easy drinker.
Yeah. It's only... So Session IPAs are generally very low ABV. So this is only a 4.6. But that's like on the higher end of a ABV for a Session IPA.
Like, I mean, we talked about it in like, I think it was episode 10. I really don't care about ABV. Like, as long as it tastes good, I'm just like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, and this is, well, that's what I like. Like, this beer, just trying it now, like, I don't usually like, well, no, that's not true. Like, I'll always pick an IPA over like a Session IPA, but this is super.
I almost spilt my whole beer.
Oh no, Robbie.
That would have been so bad. Oh, sorry. I had a little panic attack there.
Oh, sorry. So anyways, this is super crushable. The IBU is only 40. So that's bitterness units for anyone who didn't listen to one of our previous episodes. But yeah, it's really good. It's really light. I need to start off on this because I'm already feeling my life. Here we go.
I'm already feeling my life. What the fuck does that mean?
That would be a really good like Backstreet Boys lyric, I feel like.
Feeling my life. Okay. So this week.
There we go. We have a hook. It's a hit. Copyright. You don't copy us.
Copyright. I mentioned it last week that I bought a beer from Great Notion Brewing up in Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
I'm in a lot of like craft beer Facebook groups, and this company keeps popping up all the time. And I was like, I gotta try some of this stuff.
Okay.
So this week I have from Great Nation Brewing. It's called Momo.
Momo?
Momo.
Okay.
It is a double dry hopped IPA featuring Motica hops. It's really cool. They have really cool can art.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, they got cool
I
shit.
like that guy. He looks like a zombie Abe Lincoln.
Yeah, right? It is a 7%, and it is fucking amazing. I gotta say. It looks like orange juice,
Oh, wow. It really does.
Yeah, and it kind of has that citrusy taste to it as well.
Like acidic?
No, just citrusy.
Oh, okay.
Just pure, and it's so fucking good. I'm kind of disappointed I've never had this before, and I'm kind of mad that this is my only one in my fridge, so.
Wait, Robbie, where can people get this?
Oh my god.
Where did they distribute to? Do you know?
That's good. I don't know. I don't know if they're just Oregon only. I had to order this through mybeercollectible.com. If you haven't used it, check it out. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's how I sent you all the beer from The Alchemist.
Exactly. And this is fucking good.
All right, wait, what is it? I want to order it. What is it?
It's called Momo, MOMO.
Okay.
From Great Notion Brewing.
Great Notion Brewing. Okay.
Yep.
I just had some the beer that I drank with Steph for our Beyond the Brews episode was from Odd Otter, which was in Tacoma, Washington. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it was really good. The beer scene out there is crazy.
Yeah, this is amazing, to be honest with you.
Oh,
I'm kind of blown away how good this is.
And Robbie is usually kind of disappointed in his beers, I feel like. So for him to be super excited about this beer, like, makes me really excited about this beer.
I usually end up getting shit sometimes, but you know what's funny? The term Momo is actually like a slang insult term.
For what?
For like idiot, asshole, dumbass, like.
Yeah, but we use slang terms for that all the fucking time.
Yeah, but I know, but Momo is a pretty specific slang term.
Oh, is it?
Have you ever heard that somebody called a Momo?
No.
Exactly. And I know it's a slang term because I listened to Joey Diaz. He's a comedian.
Oh, yeah, you talked about him before.
Yep, and he's Cuban, but sometimes he just starts speaking Italian. But he says the word Momo a lot about people. And he goes, we overcat here with the fucking Momos. Like,
okay.
Momo's like a dumbass, you know what I mean? So I thought that was
right.
pretty funny. I don't know if they meant to do that on purpose, but
Well,
it's fucking good.
I mean, if it's a good beer, who cares, right?
I'm just very happy with this.
Yeah, you look super happy. Robbie, literally the look on his face right now is like a small child on Christmas. Like, he's lit for this beer.
It's like an adult orange juice with beer. Like, it's just...
Like a Sunny D?
Yeah, it's so good.
Oh, wait, Robbie, will you send me some?
I don't have any more.
Damn it.
That's why I'm disappointed. This is my only one.
All right,
that
my
I
beer
have.
collectibles. We'll do it. Here we go. I'll look it
Yeah.
up tomorrow. I always look for beers in, like, my region. I don't know why. Like, I can just drive to them.
Yeah, exactly. I look for everything.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm going to start looking for West Coast beers.
Yeah.
Because they're doing something good. All right. What are we doing?
So now that we've gone over both of our beers, we're going to do a little bit of brew news.
Brew News.
Now it's time for Brew News.
And this one is kind of reminiscent of one we've already done with Knee Deep Brewing, getting a lawsuit filed against them from, I don't know if it was from AMC or was it from
Sony.
like Breaking Bad specifically?
Sony.
Or was it Sony? Okay, Sony.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. But now we have Seven Stills Brewing Company. I didn't look up where they were from. I really didn't care about where they're from. I just wanted to, get the story. They had a cease and desist order filed against them from In-N-Out, the famous Californian or West Coast burger chain.
Oh, yeah, we talked about them on our fast food episode, right?
Exactly. And because they created a beer called the In-N Stout. Instead of In-N-Out, it's In-N Stout, which shares, obviously, the common name. And it also kind of shares the same, the can art design for the beer looks exactly like their logo.
What does the can art look like?
It like the In-N-Out logo.
What does the In-N-Out logo look like?
You gotta look it up. It's not really describable. It's just like yellow and red, and you would know it when you see it.
All right, we'll post a picture somewhere.
Yeah, you know it for sure. But they sent them this cease and desist letter, and it's really funny because they kind of trolled them in a way, and not just writing a letter. They filled this cease and desist letter filled with beer puns.
Wait, so In-N-Out wrote a cease and desist order to what was the company?
Seven Stills.
Seven Stills using beer puns.
Using beer puns.
Get the fuck out of here.
And it's fucking awesome. And it was posted all over all the beer Facebook groups I follow. So I was like, I gotta use this. Like, this is amazing.
I'm so excited. Tell me all about it. Do
So-
you have it? Will you read it to me?
I have a snippet of the order that's filled with the brew puns. Don't worry, I'll emphasize the the brew puns.
I'm so excited.
All right, this is from In and Out. Based on your use of our marks, we feel obligated to hop to action in order to prevent further issues from brewing. We hope you appreciate, however, that we are attempting to clearly distill our rights by crafting an amicable approach with you rather than barrel through this. Please contact us as soon as possible so this does not continue to ferment. Thank you. Thank you for your time and your consideration, and we look forward to resolving this in good spirits.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Isn't that great? That's a legal document, by the way.
That's hilarious. Can I write my will like that? Can I
You can write it however you want.
Oh my god, that's brilliant. Whoever is in charge of their legal department, I bet an intern wrote that shit.
No, there's no way. That's not an intern.
That's hilarious. Whoever wrote that, like, I applaud you. That's money right there. Money.
That's something I would do.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like, I think that's fucking hilarious. If someone sent me that, I'd be like, thanks for letting me know, but in, like, a funny way. Like, you didn't have to be an asshole, and you weren't. Like, I won't use your shit. Or, like,
yeah,
I would stop using... I would be more likely to stop using my like, logo if somebody sent me a letter like that as opposed to, like, a fucking dickhead letter.
Yeah. Yeah, they were nice about it.
Yeah. Do you know what the resolution was? Like, are they going to change their labeling or, like...
I think it's still ongoing.
All right.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Oh my god,
Isn't
that's
that
so
great?
funny. Good job. Good job in and out. Like, thank you for being cordial.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. So if they win this, like if In and Out wins this, I think it makes more sense that they won this more than the Sony Breaking Bud one.
Why?
Because at least Knee Deep, like, changed their, like, there's the kind of the logo is kind of the same, you know what I mean, with the elements and the shit.
Yeah, I haven't seen the logo for this one, so I don't know how to compare it.
It's obvious that it's In and Out.
All right.
That's the problem.
Robbie, do you realize that every Brew News that we've done has been about a lawsuit?
Not everyone.
Most of them.
The
first Brew News that we did was about Stone suing Keystone.
Yeah, but that's Brew News. It's important.
Yeah, and then we did Knee Deep, or Sony's suing Knee Deep, and then we did In and Out suing.
That's 3 out of 12 episodes.
Yeah, but we haven't done Brew News on every episode.
Yeah, but some of the other ones have been good ones. Like
don't
introducing
remember.
new breweries.
Oh, which one was that?
One of them? I forgot.
Oh, all right.
But
well, it doesn't matter.
it's sad. 12 episodes and I already forget everything.
Oh, shit. Me too, dude. I have a terrible memory.
And I edit all this shit, so I should know.
And I
where
re-listen to
everything
them.
is.
I constantly re-listen to us all the time. I think we're hilarious, dude. I always double check our episodes just to make sure that you don't put name in any of them. So
I usually leave it in there.
I always
but-
make sure to clip it out.
Did you at least replace it with something?
Yeah, I do it with the bottle cap. That's how you
Okay.
know it's her name. That's how you know it's... Because I clip it out
Yeah,
with the bottle
because
cap.
I don't do it at all. So
Yeah, exactly. That's why I listen to every episode before it goes out.
I think it's
We
funnier.
had one listener in Pennsylvania, and I was... Did I snap it to you? But I was like, oh,
Yeah.
Is it Krista, or is it... what?
Beep, beep.
Oh, shit.
Does Krista listen to us?
I don't know. She follows, or she likes us on Facebook, but I can't
Yeah.
imagine she listens to us.
I'll ask her.
We should ask her. I want to know who our Pennsylvania... If you're our Pennsylvania listener, will you email us at thebrewinterviews@gmail.com? Like, just let me know that you either are part of my old extended family or are not part of my old extended family.
I'm doing everything in my power right now to not chug this fucking beer.
Oh, same. This is going down so easy. Like,
What
I'm
the
almost
fuck?
done with it already.
This shit is delicious.
And I have 4 more.
Fuck.
In this pack, they had the Session, their IPA, their double IPA, and one other one. I'll let you know when I go get my other beer. I'll look at the packaging. But
Yeah.
do you want to dance, Robbie? We should have a dance party sometime.
I would win hands down, so there's no point.
No, I'm an excellent dancer.
No, you would lose. You would lose, my friend.
Robbie, one time I danced so hard at the club that I lost a gauge. And,
Like
and
in your ear.
yes, one of my ear gauges was gone. First, it ended up in some girl's mouth, and she like turned around and like smiled with me, and it was like in her mouth. I was like, "Bitch, you fucking have my gauge in your mouth? Where'd that come from?" And then, I put it back in, and then I lost it at some point in that night. And then when I left the club, my shirt was halfway unbuttoned. So it was it was
I would say it's impressive if you said, "I danced so hard I lost my clit ring."
Well, we talked about this in one episode. I want to get my clit pierced. So.
I know, because that'd be funny if you were just like.
Well,
fucking,
I danced so hard that I lost a gauge.
Yeah. You should have seen me in my Germany days. We used to. Me and my friend TJ, we would go to the fucking clubs, like the German nightclubs, and we would get so drunk, and we both like to dance, so we're just dancing everywhere.
Wait,
And-
Robbie,
What?
why have you and I never danced like together? Not together, but like at the
Because there's
same
nowhere
time
to
in the same
fucking
place.
dance. There's nowhere to fucking dance, and I have to be drunk. I have to be drunk.
Oh, I absolutely have to be drunk, but I'm a good time. I'm a good time.
We were okay. So Allison is gonna love this. We were. I don't know if I've told this story or not on air before.
Do it.
We were at a Phi Mu Delta party, and it was kind of a small-ish room.
We both went to Keene State, everyone.
Yeah, where the dance room was, and I kind of vaguely remember it. Allison started like grinding up on me,
I love Allison. I love
Super
her.
hard.
I love her. I love her. I love her.
like super hard, and she like backed up on me so hard that I fell backwards. Seriously, I fell backwards, and I hit the light switch for the dance floor, and I turned on all the lights on the dance floor, and everything just stopped.
Allison, you broke the fucking party, dude.
And it's so funny. I was like,
Damn,
just turn it off.
You know how good of an ass you have to stop a party?
Dude.
Get it. Get it.
Get it? She's fucking married.
My dog just growled when I said that.
It's the ghost.
Ryder, relax.
It's the ghost of big bootied past.
Oh, man. I was just looking at my ass earlier. I have a wonderful ass, Robbie.
I don't care. I don't.
I'm just saying. I'm really proud of it. I have a really good butt. It looks really good in these boxers.
Ugh, that's like me saying I got really good balls. Like they're just nice balls.
I mean, those two. I don't have any. None
No.
of the human flesh variety.
It is a trick joke. Balls are not attractive.
Yeah, balls are fucking gross.
I don't even like my balls.
Yeah, because balls are disgusting.
Yeah, like what are they there for? Just push them in. Just like hide them. I'm touching my balls as we say this. Push them in.
Ew.
Well, because I'm a method actor. Okay, deal with it. So
Yeah, I know. You
Push 'em in.
move your hands a lot when you talk.
yeah. So I started recording. Like when I do my single recording stuff, I have started setting up on my kitchen counter so that it's high up and I'm standing.
Yeah.
Because I find that when I record, I do a character and I'm more animated.
Yeah. Oh,
So-
I know. I watch you all the time. All you do is move your hands.
I mean, that's what Big Jim was. Remember Big Jim?
No.
I sent you the clip of Big Jim.
Wait, what?
Big Jim.
Who?
Mortuary services and Carolina barbecue.
No. Oh.
You dumb bitch.
Oh, that clip. I thought you meant a YouTube video when you said
No.
you sent me a clip. Oh, when you did his character. Dude, that was fucking hilarious. Are you
I figured if-
kidding me?
I figured if we don't get a sponsor, then we can sponsor ourselves
Well, I think we're gonna use it as like Steph and I do some beer breaks when we do our Beyond the Brews, so I want to use it as a beer break for that.
But we have to mention it like he's not associated with us. You know what I mean? Like he is an actual sponsor. We gotta treat it like an actual sponsor.
Well, what we'll do is at the end of the episode, I'll record something that's like, Big Jim is not an actual sponsor of blah 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 blah, but we'll like speed it up so it's like really quick, like the end of those like medical commercials.
Don't even need that. We just pretend like he's a real sponsor.
It's funny. I like it. I can record something and be like, that was our sponsor, Big Jim from blah blah blah.
Well, no, we would put it in and then mention it. So I'll do another one too. Don't worry.
All right, I really like the drunk things that you send me.
Because I got nothing to fucking do on night shift.
Yo, I think that we can use that SVU, like the dun dun,
easily,
in like our actual podcast, because the Beer and Broads girls used it in one of theirs, and they
really?
have a lot of episodes. So like,
yeah,
I think we can do it.
Well, I think part of it is it comes down to monetization. So if somebody wants to sponsor you, and they find and if they hear certain things that are copywritten and shit like that, then it becomes a problem. But the boom boom is not trademarked. So
perfect.
Yeah.
We should use that for an intro then.
Yeah.
Or a beer break or something.
You like that intro?
I love it. Are you kidding me? It's so good. I made my coworker listen to it.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, listen to Robbie. He's hilarious. He's so funny. I love when because both of my coworkers listen to our podcast and they sit very close to me. So every time a new episode is released, I wait to hear their reactions. And Steph never has a reaction, but she always gives me really good feedback. Like, she's just not a very reactionary person.
Yeah.
But Dan is like an overreactionary person. So he just fucking laughs so hard. And I'm just like, what is he laughing at? And Steph and I turn at each other and we're just like, what do you think he's laughing at? And so I'm like, Dan, what are you laughing at? And he tells us, and Steph and I are like, oh, we're way ahead of that. Wait till he gets to the next part. If you're laughing that hard now, just wait. So
that's good.
Yeah. I don't remember what we were talking about.
I don't know. I think I just burped really weirdly. Okay.
All right. So I have decided that because what episode is this? 13?
12.
Because we're 12 episodes into a podcast that we kind of talk about beer, we should talk about beer.
Good transition.
Well, you know what I mean? We drink beers and we give a short description, but then we talk about other things like comics for our last episode, or cartoons or video games. We don't spend our entire episode talking about beers, and you and I ask a lot of questions about beers during our episodes. And so I thought that I would actually spend some time doing a little bit of research into the beers that we like. And I brought this topic up to you, and I was like, okay, so I think every other episode, we're going to do an episode on a specific type of beer.
Yes.
So maybe the next one we'll do stouts, and then we'll do wheats, and then we'll do sours. We'll go from there. And if you have suggestions, please let us know what you want to hear about. I'll do the research, I'll drink the beer, I'll let you know what I think. Robbie will let you know what he thinks. So I think every other episode we're going to do one beer, but I think we might have to do a two-parter for IPAs, Robbie, because that's what we decided to do for our first one, and there's a lot of fucking information, and I didn't have that much time to keep going off all the different branches that go into making certain kind of IPAs. So I'm going to talk about sort of the process of making beer, so that we can get a basis for these sort of series episodes, just what goes into making them, the steps, and then I'll go into IPAs. But you're kind of the history buff, so do you want to start off with the history of IPAs?
Oh, that was a wet burp. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it a little bit before, and then Lauren questioned my IPA history knowledge, and then I shoved it back in her stupid fucking face.
Well,
So
I listened to a cross episode of the Beerists and the Rogue Nation. No, that's the thing that Rogue does. I don't know, Rogue something.
That's that thing that Rogue
Just
does.
look up the Beerists. They did a cross thing, and like that guy's real smart. And he said something about it. I don't know. I'm gonna go with you because you are my history expert, Robbie.
So if you're into like random beer knowledge, there is a YouTube channel called Beer by the Numbers, and
Okay.
they do kind of like the basics, like what is dry hop aging, what is IBU, what is, you know what I mean, like simple gee whiz stuff that can get you
Okay.
into to brew stuff. And I just kind of backed up my personal history of IPAs with their channel. So as you know, IPAs were started in England,
Yes.
and during the trips from England to India, because India was a colony of England, instead of water, ships would normally have beer, because beer lasted longer. Okay?
Okay.
And it's beer, so it's better. But the trip was so long that the beer usually went bad by the time they got almost towards
yeah.
India.
That and the temperatures were much higher
Exactly.
from England to India.
Exactly. So the beer stayed at a perfect temperature from England to about like Morocco, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was
And
going
then-
to say like Egypt area, or well,
Exactly.
they went all the way around. So
Other
whatever.
side.
I don't know.
They went to the Atlantic Ocean, went down, and they got to about Morocco, and then it would start to get warm again. So their beer went from a nice, perfect temperature to warm. And then as they hit the bottom of South Africa around the tip, it would get cold again. And then as they came back up into like the Indian Ocean towards India, it would get warm again. So it would kind of destroy the beer, more or less.
Yeah, but wasn't it in like the the like bottom parts of a ship that were like really cold anyways because they were by like the ocean and like dark?
But the ocean temperature is still going to affect it, and it's still warm by the equator.
I guess that's true. Do you know that penguins only live south of the equator?
I thought there was one species that did live north.
Nope. Only south.
I thought
Only
there was-
south.
or maybe it went extinct was the thing I had read.
Probably.
Like there was one, and then it whatever. But anyway, the beer. So they figured out that if they added more hops and more alcohol percentage to that beer, it would last longer on their trip to India. So the India part of the IPA doesn't technically come from being brewed in India. It just comes from the trip that they would do to India.
Now, I don't think that it was actually a higher alcohol content. I think that it was just hoppier because they added more hops because hops are a preservative.
I heard the alcohol percentage as well was a little bit higher.
I don't think that the alcohol percentage got higher until America got a hold of the IPA and was like, "Oh, this is great! Like, let's just fucking double the alcohol percentage out of it." Like, I don't think initially the alcohol percentage was a part of it. Like, people just weren't used to the amount of hops that were being added to it because like they didn't have a bitter beer in England when they were brewing. Like, it was just like an ale. But because they added more hops, it made it more bitter. But just because you add more hops doesn't mean the alcohol content is higher. But they added more hops because it was a preservative.
But I think part of that was a higher alcohol percentage lasted that trip. Like, it wouldn't be diluted. Like, it wouldn't be fucked up.
I don't know if that has
long
anything
trip.
to do with it.
I do.
But right, I know that IPAs right now like have a higher alcohol percentage. So.
Sometimes. I mean, some of them don't, though. I mean, some are
Well,
fives.
I'm going to get into that, Robbie. I'm going to let you know what's what a little later on in the episode.
You mean right now?
Oh, shit. Is it my turn?
Yes.
Oh, I'm already done with this beer because it was super crushable.
I am not.
All right. Well, chug your beer.
You can wait a fucking minute, because the last episode, you chugged all your beers, and I was still stuck on my own. So we're going to wait till I'm done with my fucking beer.
Yeah, but I don't want to start this segment. Well, why don't I get another beer and talk
That's my
about my
impression
beer?
of you.
What?
That was my impression of you.
Go fuck yourself. Listen, I'm gonna go get my other beer. I'll talk about my beer, and then I'll start to talk about the process of beer. You
Yeah, but I
fucking
don't-
chugged beers for like 6 episodes in a row. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, but we were on the same pace. I just don't want to do another, like, beer break, like 2 beer breaks right in a row, because I'm almost done with mine. So, you know what I mean? I think you should just kind of just hold out for a couple more minutes.
Robbie, I was drinking a beer while you were in your second beer. Like, go get another beer and then open it mid-episode. We'll talk about it.
But then it'll be warm.
Robbie, I don't give a... Go get your fucking other beer. We're going to have a beer break right now.
No.
Robbie, we're having a beer break. Beer break. Beer break, go. Beer break, go.
I'm editing you out of this whole episode.
While Robbie and Lauren are getting a new beer, let's take this time to remind all you out there that you can follow us on all our social media platforms, such as on Instagram @The Brew Interviews or Twitter @Brew Interviews. And if you have any questions or suggestions for the show, contact them at thebrewinterviews@gmail.com. Now, back to the show.
And we are back from an unfortunate beer break.
I don't know what you want from me, Robbie. That beer was so easy to drink. I fucking just chugged the whole thing. Look, if you're looking for a really easy drink, get the Southern Hemisphere Session IPA from Sierra Nevada.
I want consistency and quality from my podcast partner.
I was gonna say from your beer. Sierra Nevada provides that. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I am not consistent or quality. So here we go.
Did you watch the video I sent you, right, with the Dogfish Head owner?
This morning I woke up to that and I was just like, it said beer brewed with human saliva, and I was like, well, I'm gonna watch this now.
I want to try that. But
that was did some of the fucking cost of those beers, but I really like Dogfish Head. Like I would.
Yeah, so do I.
Can we do that? Can we do that with the Miracle?
Yeah,
berry?
find stuff. Yeah.
All right. Just stay posted, folks. If you're really interested, Google what that is. But if not, just wait around. Wait around.
So, continue with your IPA stuff.
Oh, yes. So I'm about to get into what goes into making a beer and IPAs. So I'm staying with the IPA theme tonight. And I am drinking as my second beer, Bright. And it is a double IPA from Treehouse Brewing, which I have mentioned before in the podcast. They're in Massachusetts. This is a 7.8% ABV, and it's got notes of, it's supposedly has notes of grapefruit, sweet berries, and clementine. And there's a reason that I'm drinking this beer, but you're not going to find out until my second beer as to why.
Always with the mystery.
I love a good mystery. It's like Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Where are you?
Alright, so I just poured this, and it kind of looks like lemonade. Just pouring out, but then it kind of turns into a more orangey color. It's got a lot of foam on it, so I'm going to drink it out the can.
I'm just going to sing the Scooby-Doo theme song over you. Come on, Scooby-Doo.
Wow, that's really fucking good. Holy shit.
What is it? Who's it by? Sierra Nevada, right?
What?
Is it still Sierra Nevada? I don't remember.
No, this is Treehouse.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yep.
Holy fuck. So this beer it's super flavorful and very juicy, but not like that really full mouth juicy. It like it's a very I don't know, every time I say full mouth, Robbie just like loses his mind. He's like, I can't believe you just fucking said that.
It's not that you said full mouth, it's the adjectives that you add along with the full mouth.
I know.
So full mouth juicy is also the name of my next porno. So
all right, well, this beer has a really juicy half mouth feel. I just banged the can against my teeth. Ow.
Rookie.
This is crazy good. It's really good.
Yeah.
If you can get your hands on this, I absolutely recommend buying it. Oh, it has just the right amount of bitterness to like fruity sweetness. And it's not like super juicy, nor is it super well, it's more yellowy. Well, I have bad lighting in my apartment. Don't trust my color judgment.
Your color judgment. I hope that applies only to beer and not people.
Well, It does only apply to beer. When I
That's
hold it
good.
over here, it looks like lemonade, but when I hold it over here, it looks like a more orangey amber color. But either way, good out of the can or out of the glass. So I'm really fucking excited for my next beer. If I make it that far. Okay, here we go. What's up next?
I don't know. You're in charge of the whole IPA.
My turn?
Yeah,
Okay.
I did my bit.
So, Robbie, I think that getting some feedback from our prompted listeners, some of
What do
the
you mean?
feedback was that they want to hear more about the beer. Like, we do a lot of talking, like, on side notes, and I go on very long rambles about different things.
You think?
Face Robbie just made. But I really feel like you and I bond over beer, and we've come up with a lot of questions about it, and so we should really start exploring the thing that we're drinking while we're talking about all of these things, and that we bond over, right?
Yes.
Yes. So that way we don't have as many questions, because no question is a dumb question. So if you have a question, ask a fucking question.
I've heard some dumb questions.
All right, listen. No question about beer is a dumb question. If you have a question, ask. Okay? If somebody's a snide in their remark, they're an asshole. Okay.
Sorry.
So, Robbie, do you know what the main core ingredients of beer are?
Hops, water, and love.
You're halfway there.
Was it with the love part?
Nope. So hops, water. Water is like the main ingredient of beer.
Yeah.
Hops we know from IPAs. What else what don't I like?
Wheat, barley, fun,
Right, so-
happiness, men, good comedies, good movies, TV shows.
Okay, in my beer. So when I say I don't like a weedy taste, I'm pretty sure that I'm referring to the type of yeast that's used in the making of the beer. So there's yeast, and you said malt, and that is the malted barley that people use, that brewers use to make the beer.
Yes.
So we have water, malted barley, hops, and yeast. 4 main ingredients of beer. There you go. There you have it. If you do the brewery tour up in Vermont for Harpoon, they ask you that question at your first stop. So if you're listening, you'll be an educated listener.
That's what I tell everybody. Like, I think I told Allison or Heather, one of the girls. I was like, this podcast is not so much entertaining as educational. And I was referring to episode 7 where we talk about porn and shoving things up the ass.
Just a lot of porn, dude. I turned to my coworkers and I was like, anytime you want to stop listening, I don't blame you.
I think it's our best episode, to be honest.
Oh, I really like episode 8, our great food debate. Like, that's my favorite episode, but right before episode 7. That's my second favorite. Oh, shit.
Oh, man.
Okay, so these ingredients are different steps in the brewing process. So the first step in brewing beer is malts. It gives the color. So there are different types of malts. There are light malts versus dark malts. So the base malt is the lightest. Then you have the caramel malt, which is a slightly darker, sweeter malt. Then you have the chocolate roasted barley, which is a darker, bitter taste. So when you have maybe like a lager with a roasted barley, like that's going to give it like that really robust taste. And then you extract the sugar from the malted barley when you boil the water, right? Because when you boil, you want the sugar, right?
It feels like I'm in like 6th grade science again. You know what I mean?
I feel like we might have some people who might want to brew some beer.
I understand it. It's fine. I like the explanation, but it's just kind of funny. It's just, she's like,
I know.
the neck bone's
I'm not as
connected to the
entertaining as Bill Nye
shoulder
the
bone.
Science Guy, people. I'm so sorry. And Robbie literally looks like he's a 7th grader in a science class that's like way below his standard. He's like, I should be in physics. I should be in 11th grade physics. Like, this is fucking stupid.
The neck bone's connected to the shoulder bone. Shoulder bone's connected to the... Do you remember Schoolhouse of Rock?
No, I never watched it.
What? All right, you better be joking, you bitch.
No, I'm not joking at all. I've never watched it. Not even a clip.
Oh my god.
I'm
gonna
know
send
what
you a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh no.
Them drones, them bones, them dry bones. No? Nothing?
I mean, I know that song, but I don't know that what you're referring to.
And like how a bill is created in the government and conjunction, junction, what's your function?
All right, so I know the first 5 seconds of that song because I was like, oh, I'm going to learn about our political system through old techniques. And then I watched 5 seconds and I was like, oh, I have a phone call at work, so I have to stop watching it. I never watched it again.
Schoolhouse of Rock is...
Wow, this beer is super fruity. The clementine is just coming through like crazy.
Just like you. Super fruity and the clementine's coming through.
Hey!
I don't know what that meant. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't either. All right, so listen. Back to the science. This is a science podcast.
So listen.
After you add the malts, you got the extract from the sugar from the malts. You add the hops. Now, I have to read my notes. Hang on, it's been a minute.
Yeah, I'll edit this part out.
Thank you.
Make you sound smart.
I wrote, instead of beginning, I wrote begging of boil. Instead of beginning of boil. All right. So there are 3 times that you add hops through the process of making beer. You add them at the beginning of the boil. You add them for the bitterness of the beer. Mm-hmm. When you add them in the middle, you add the hops for the flavor. So that's when you get your like citrus and your floral and your earthiness. You get your citrus and your floral and your earthiness like hops from flavors from hops. So first round of hops, bitterness. Second round of hops is where you get the flavor. Now the third round of hops that you add is at the end, and that's what creates the aroma that you smell when you drink an IPA.
My favorite.
Yeah, right? Like when you pour that IPA into that glass and you get that really aromatic, like floral or citrusy hot like smell, like that's the smell that you're getting from the hops that they add at the end of the brew. So, round 1. What was it, Robbie?
What?
It makes the beer bitter.
Was I supposed to be...
Round 1 of hops.
So I liken it to like adding garlic to a dish. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you put a little bit of garlic in the beginning.
Yep.
To try and get that kind of flavor. Kind of get that aroma.
Yeah, with the oil in the pan, you're trying to get it.
Yeah,
like,
get it
like
sexy and get it
infused.
awesome. And
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
And then, like, right at the end, you go... And you throw that garlic in there, and you get all that aroma and that smell. Because it's so fresh. Like, you haven't burnt it, but you haven't cooked it all the way. It's like right there. Like it's...
Yeah. So... How do you mince your garlic? Do you mince it? Do you chop it? Like, do you have a mincer? How do you do it?
So I love to cook, but
Oh, same.
garlic is I love the taste, but dealing with it is one of the most fucking annoying things in the fucking world. I feel like I have to wash my hands 10 times every time I do it. Because it's so sticky and it's just annoying.
So, garlic gets stuck on your hands really easily. If you wash your hands with a metal, the wire sponges.
Like a brush?
Yeah, if you wash your hands with wire or metal, the smell will come right out.
The smell's not the problem. It's just the stickiness I hate of cutting it. Everything sticks
So
on my fucking hands.
you cut your garlic.
It depends what I'm making.
Really? I always mince my garlic. I have a garlic mincer. I always mince it. I never get my hands sticky.
Mince or press? You have a little hand press that you put the garlic cloves in?
Yeah, that's a mincer.
That's a garlic press.
No,
but
it
that's what I
minces
have.
it.
It doesn't
Except
really mince
today,
it.
my mincer was dirty, so I just smashed it with the side of the knife, and I chopped it in little squares.
Well, that's what you're supposed to... That's a mince.
Yeah, that's
That's
what
a
Carrie
mince.
taught me to do. I didn't know.
Yeah.
No, but that's what a mincer does. It does those little squares.
Kind of does that, but it presses it, if anything, because it makes it kind of a mash, because it's so
Yeah,
fine.
I like that.
I use that sometimes, depending, but for the most part, I just crush it with my knife, and I mince it up by hand.
All right, so you're a hand mincer.
Yeah, because I'm a big knife guy, so I like my
Wow,
knife
this
skills.
beer-
I have good kitchen knives, so
Oh, yeah. Oh, I posted a picture of that beer, but just because I was so impressed by your knives.
Thank you. Yeah, that knife, the Bob Kramer, probably one of my favorite purchases of all time.
Well, you got that when the kitchen store was going out of business, right?
Yeah, I had been, ask Alan, I had been eyeing that knife for like a couple of years or more.
It's a very impressive
It's a
knife.
very nice knife. And it was like $300 somewhere, something like that. And I waited till the store was going out of business, plus Alan's discount.
Yeah, so you got a really good
I got
deal
it.
on a really good knife.
Really good. It's carbon steel. You gotta take care of it, but it's well worth it. Oh, I love it. I can see her right now. I'm looking at her.
And you're a very
baby.
meticulous person, so.
Hello, beautiful. I see you.
I rely on my mother to buy me good knives. I had knives that wouldn't even cut a tomato skin until this summer.
Oh,
I was like, this
me.
knife. My mom like was going through my kitchen, and I think she was looking at my knives. And like the next time I saw her, she was like, "I found this really good knife set at a yard sale. Like, you should take it." And it's great. I haven't had to sharpen it since. Because it
I sharpen
actually
my
fucking
knives.
cuts tomatoes. It's great. I love it.
I sharpen my knives at least once every couple of weeks, but
I can't stand the sound. I can't
I
do
love
it.
it. Well,
I can't.
if you
I
get a-
cannot. I can't. I cannot stand the sound of knives being sharpened. No.
get a whetstone. Get a whetstone. But
No, I'm just gonna bring him over to Steve's and have him sharpen him,
Yeah.
and then we'll interview him. It'll be great.
fuck, what was I gonna say? I was at Allison's house one of the times I was home, and I think we were cooking burgers, and I went to go cut up some tomato.
Yeah.
For not a single fucking knife in her drawer would cut through this fucking tomato, and I'm like, how do you live?
That's how I lived, Robbie. You have to
How?
stab. You have to stab the tomato with the knife point, and then cut that, and hope that you get it straight.
Oh my god.
It's the worst. I can't stand the sound of sharpening knives, so every time I like pull it across the like blade to do it, I'm just like, what? I can't. I need somebody to sharpen my knives, so my mom just bought me like a sharp knife set, and those are fine right now. But
Buy like a little hand sharpener, like it's like a little thing
I
you
did,
hold onto the grip
Robbie.
to.
I bought a hand sharpener. I can't do it. I can't do the
My
sound.
God, fucking do it. Otherwise, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you because nothing is worse than a dull knife to me.
I know. I hate it, but I can't do it. I don't know. I'm scared.
suck
so
it
I
up.
have to. I asked Steve. I asked our friend Steve to sharpen my knives for us, and he said he would do it. So we're gonna do it.
Alan will do it too.
Well, Alan will do it too. I love Alan.
Yeah.
Anyone who will sharpen my knives, just fucking sharpen my knives. I'll cook for you. I'll cook you a meal if you sharpen my knives. I'm a great cook.
So, where were we with IPAs?
Honestly, I don't remember.
You were talking about the process of pretty much beer making.
I think that we had just gone over adding hops, right?
Yes.
So when you add them at the beginning, it makes them bitter. When you add them in the middle, it's the flavor of it. When you add them at the end, it's the aroma. Okay.
Yes.
Now, 3, after you cool down the wort, you add the yeast, and the wort is what they call the like brew after you boil it with the hops.
It's like the mash.
Yeah, mash, whatever. So when you add the yeast, throw it in. You let it sit for like a week. Now there are 2 kinds of yeast. Also, yeast is what turns the sugar into CO2. Yes.
Carbon dioxide.
Yes, carbon dioxide. So it adds flavor to the beer depending on the kind of yeast strand that you use. And it's a fun story because do you remember in episode maybe 4, whenever we did our musical collabs, I said that I wanted to do mine with Hill Farmstead.
Yes.
So the kind of yeast that you use is very specific to like the taste of the beer that you get. So Hill Farmstead beer is so beyond like other craft breweries because they were able to like pinpoint a specific yeast, and they use that yeast strand for all of their beers, or like some of their beers. And then when they bottle it, they use a different preservative yeast so that other breweries can't pick out their yeast strand to copy for their beers, because it gives it such a unique taste. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if that's like super accurate, but like look it up, or like ask somebody you know about Hill Farmstead. But like the yeast that you use to brew your beer is very important. Like that's what really gives it a flavor, like that yeast flavor.
Doesn't it almost sound kind of paranoid?
Yeah. Well, you know what? When you make a beer that good, like you don't want other people to be able to replicate it. Like we have to do a whole nother episode about hops, because the hop industry is crazy. Like mosaic hops, citra hops,
Idaho.
like they're all owned, like they're all trademarked. So like
Motica?
you only get these hops from like one place. So like most of the hops that you're tasting in a citra beer from the West Coast is the same citra hop that you're tasting on the East Coast, or at least that's what I think right now. Like we have to do some more research about it, but like we can't cover the amount of hops in this episode. Like there's so much about IPAs that you can cover.
Yeah, there's a lot. Hops specifically.
Yeah, we can do a whole episode about hops, because I started to dive into this and I was just like, I can't do all of this in like an hour and a half. Like there's absolutely no way.
I wouldn't worry about it. That's a whole episode on its own.
Yeah. So we might even have a part 2 about IPAs, because I just want to like separate the normal, like the basic IPA as a... Robbie's modeling his business card to me right now. We got business cards, are great. He just sent me some. So I have 10 on the East Coast. I want to keep 3 for myself, and I promise 1 to my coworker. So if you find one of Robbie's business cards on the East Coast somewhere, save it. It'll be valuable one day.
Oh, I should have signed them all.
Oh, damn it, Robbie. Send me 10 more with your signature. We'll make them extra limited edition.
I got plenty.
Perfect. I need to do another batch of mine, because A, I forgot to put our email address on there, and B, now we're on Spotify. So you can find us. Listen, if you're listening to us on like Podbean and it's inconvenient for you, you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play, Podbean.
I said Spotify, you bitch. I prepared.
I know. I saw your design. I was like, fuck, Robbie put Spotify, and I had already ordered mine. So
my cards are so much better than yours.
Every platform you can find us. And we honestly thank you for listening, because we do this for you.
Well, I do it for myself a little bit, but...
What?
I said I do it for myself mostly, but without the people listening, it's nothing. Think about it.
You and I are just talking into these expensive microphones that we bought together.
Which I'm also okay with.
Yeah, I hear you much more clearly.
As opposed to...
As opposed to if we were just Skyping on our own.
Yeah.
Hey, Robbie, do you want to do a beer break?
No, I don't think I need one.
Oh.
Lauren has a drinking problem. I don't like to bring it up during the podcast, but I have to. You have a problem.
Robbie.
You know what I mean? Like the first part of knowing, or like, what is it? Recovery is admitting you have a problem. So you need to admit to me that you have a drinking problem, and then you have to go around and apologize to all the people. I think that's part of it.
All right.
Right?
Well, listen, I'll apologize to all the people that donate to our Patreon.
Go to patreon.com/the Brew Interviews, and you can get all kinds of rewards.
Because I drink because beer's expensive, and then I'm sad that I spent so much money on beer, so I buy more beer because I'm sad. So, no, but in all actuality, beer is very expensive. Like, please, if you have the means to donate, please donate, because all of the funds are greatly appreciated. We really like doing this for you, so...
I like how you ask them to give us money to buy beer. What you should be doing is saying, "Hey, donate to the show. It means a lot. Equipment is expensive. It costs money to produce the show, and it costs money to host the show on certain websites."
They absolutely do.
Instead of asking fans to buy us alcohol.
Listen, I don't know. There are hosting fees. There are equipment fees. There are beer fees. Like, every time that I buy a beer for this show, it costs me money. Every time, like, I bought this microphone, it costs me money. We pay hosting fees. We really appreciate our listeners. Like, thank you so much for listening. I wake up every day and I check our stats and I'm like, oh, we have one more listener in Florida, or oh, we have one more listener in California. Like, I get so excited. We also have listeners like in Sweden and Brazil. Like, that's super exciting. So I'm really appreciative. Like, thank you for listening. If you want to keep listening, and if you have suggestions, like, please let us know. If there's something you don't like that we do, let us know. If there's something you like that we do and you want to hear more of, let us know. Let us know what the beer scene around your hometown is. Like, we'd love to talk about it. So thank you, listeners. We need a beer break?
That was a mouthful.
Yeah. You're welcome. Love you guys.
Yes, I need a beer break.
All right. Here we go. Beer break.
Beer break.
Well, it looks like Lauren and Robbie are off to get another beer. Seems like a lot of beer, you two. I know I'm supposed to plug your social media and such, but have you ever considered the idea that you might have a drinking problem? Are my words falling on deaf ears? Oh, I'm so alone during these cutaways. Be sure to check out their social media and their Patreon, I guess. Now, back to the show.
And we are back from my beer break. I'm drinking something different now. I'm drinking one of my favorite beers of all time, actually.
Really?
Yeah. Drinking Ballast Point's Grapefruit Sculpin.
Oh, good choice, Robbie.
Yeah. Nice filler beer. It's not too heavy. It's not too light. It's perfect.
Great beer for an IPA episode.
Exactly.
To be perfectly honest, I have no idea where we left off. So, I'm gonna say that we left off on yeast, right?
We left off on yeast.
Yeah, you add the yeast to the beer after the hops. It turns sugar into CO2. You add it. It flavors the beer depending on the yeast strand. The yeast separates. It depends on the type of yeast strand that you use. It'll either like settle at the top or it'll settle at the bottom. Then you package it, you distribute it, you get your beer. Let me turn my page here. Now, there are two different heads of like top notches of beer. You have lagers, you have ales. So the primary difference of lagers and ales are the yeast. You have lager yeast, which ferments at a lower temperature, at about 50 degrees. It's a bottom fermenter, which I just talked about. It's one that settled to the bottom. You have ale yeast, which is a warmer fermenter. It ferments at about 65 to 72. It's a top fermenter, so it'll like be foamy at the top. Like if you ever follow any beer Instagrams, you see those brewers like pull the top off. It's all foamy at the top. That's probably an ale yeast. So, Robbie, I know that we have a lot of questions about beer because you and I are not beer experts, but we know what we like, right? So I'm constantly asking, what the fuck is the difference between an IPA and an APA? What the fuck is the difference between a double IPA and an IPA? I don't know. What the fuck is the difference between a wheat beer and a Berliner Weiss? So that's why we're doing these episodes.
Yes.
So IPAs and the difference between them are questions answered. I have a lot of different sources for this. I watched a lot of Beer and Bros episodes. I think that's what it's called. I promise I'll link their YouTube videos in our description. I think they're out of Canada. They're really informational. They're kind of hipstery. I really like it. One of them is going to school. He talks about brewing a lot. One of them, he has a very thick like French accent. They're
French
super
Canadian?
informational. What?
French Canadian?
Yeah, they're They're definitely Canadian. Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. But they're brewers. They're connoisseurs. Like, they know what they're talking about. If you really want to get like the down low, like quick and dirty, go check them out. They're on YouTube. Anyways, so let's talk about the difference between pale ales, IPAs, double IPAs, triple IPAs. The amount of hops that are added, the malts. Like let's do it. So, you want to start from the bottom up or the up to the bottom?
Whatever it is, make it interesting and entertaining. So use a lot
Robbie,
of
when
hand gestures.
you drink an IPA, what do you like about it?
The bitter hoppiness.
So do you like an IPA that's like really hoppy and bitter as opposed to really balanced and like malty?
No, I don't think I prefer one over the other. I think it's just I don't think I have any preference. I just like IPAs.
What's your favorite IPA?
Probably Rogue, Dead Guy Ale, but
Is that a single IPA or a double IPA?
I think it's a single. But this fucking Momo from Great Notion Brewing is probably top 5 now.
Really? What? All right.
Yeah.
Is it a single IPA or double IPA? I don't remember.
It is a double dry hopped IPA.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about. Do you want to talk about session IPA since that's the first IPA that I drank tonight?
Go for it.
Okay. So session IPAs, as opposed to a normal IPA or an IPA, is that it's brewed with less sugar. They're usually under 5%. In ABV, which is why mine was like a 4.6 or something like that.
Yeah.
They have less malts. They have more aromatics, and they're not as bitter. So they have a more like a higher focus on the dry hopping. So those are going to be your high hop, low malt, low sweet taste. That's why they're super crushable. Like the first beer that I drank in like 10 minutes because it was like easy. It was like drinking water, but a very high quality, and not like when you drink Bud Light, you're like, oh, I was like drinking water. Like that was a very good light beer that I would absolutely like. If you have to go to a like 4th of July party that you don't know what they're going to be like serving for food, absolutely bring that, because that's what's going to pair with anything. It's a really crushable beer. So that was a session IPA.
That's the, cause yeah, I think my 35 from Definitive Brewing, I think that was a session.
Oh,
IPA.
And that was what, blueberries and mango?
Yeah, that was a 3.5%.
Yeah, so that would make sense that it was a session IPA because it was so low ABV.
Yes.
All right, and then you have your pale ales, kind of like the God damn it, Robbie. We're going to make a Christmas jingle with our birds. That's fine. I'm going to cut all these out. I don't care about you. So then you have your pale ales that are like a 4 to 6%, and your IPAs that are a 5 to 8%.
Yes.
And so pale ales are more rounded on the malts, as opposed to IPAs, which are more bitter because of the hops, which we talked about in the history session, right?
Yes.
Yes, because they added more hops to make it more preserved, which made it more hoppy. And people really like that bitterness, which is what I really like in a beer. I like a really bitter, sour beer, right?
Yes.
You too. Kind of, maybe?
Sour, not so much, but yeah.
Yeah,
I
not
get what you're
sour, but you like you like IPAs. I like IPAs.
Stone is the perfect example of overly bitter that I enjoy.
All right. So we like IPAs because they're bitter.
Yes.
But when you get into the double IPAs are not double IPAs because they're more alcohol content. They're double IPAs because they add more hops, which gives it a more bitter flavor. But to offset that bitter flavor, they add more malts. So it's a more balanced IPA, which is sometimes why it has that heavier feel, because it has more malts in it as opposed to a normal IPA, like a single IPA.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks for the feedback, Robbie. Really appreciate it. Honestly, that's about all I have.
Now let's talk about pussy.
Wait. Hops are a sensitive beer. There's a small blip in the beer population. We talked about that. Oh, now listen.
Yes.
That was my 7th grade history teacher paper straightening tap. So, this is why I said that we might have to go into more than one episode about IPAs, because there's a lot that goes into IPAs based on the type of hops that you put into them and when you put them in the process of making beer. So it's mostly the female hops of that family that you use to make the hops with, because of the lupul. I'm too drunk to say this word, honestly, properly. The lupul. I can't fucking
Holy
say it.
shit.
You look at the word, Robbie.
Lupulin?
Yeah, lupulin. The lupulin. Lupulin, which is, I took a tree health class when I was getting my graduate.
You paid for that? You paid for that?
Yeah.
Tree health.
We're gonna have to do another episode about hops. We're gonna have to do another episode about IPAs. But that was your basic knowledge about how beer is brewed, what goes into making IPAs. Right now I'm drinking a beer that is a double IPA, and the next one that I'm gonna drink is the same IPA, except it's been triple hopped. So I kind of wanted to taste both of these beers side by side to see what the difference is. Like, one was just triple dry hop, like kettle triple dry hopped, as opposed to like the normal hopping of it. And that's the only information I know about it. Like, I tried to look up more, but all I could find was Beer Advocate, and it wasn't a very helpful description. So I want to try the other one. I'm almost done with this one. I know we just had a beer break, but
we should talk about something that has been on my mind.
Okay, can I go grab this beer? Like you keep talking, I'm gonna just grab this beer and then try it side by side to this one.
Okay.
Okay.
Go grab your beer. Look, I'm gonna keep talking.
Okay, go.
So there's been something on my mind. I brought it up to a coworker, and the song, I believe it was from the 90s, late 80s, early 90s. It was called Tainted Love, and it made me think of the taint, the human taint. So what I want to know is that whenever somebody refers to the taint, Lauren, you're coming in at a perfect time. When referring to the human taint.
That's the piece between the butthole and the genitals, right?
Yes. So, as I was saying, whenever someone references the taint, it's always about a guy's taint. It's always the gooch. It's always the.
I've never heard it called the gooch.
Are you what? Oh, you live in a closed society. You don't count.
I've never heard that term until now.
You've never heard gooch.
I've never heard that.
Wow, that's sad. Okay, so it's called the gooch, and most of like the extra terms are always for guys, and I'm always curious. I'm like, well, what do girls call that patch between their vagina and their beehole? But I don't even hear that. I never hear a girl call it their taint ever. I've never heard it. So
well, I created
a term that I like to use that I think you should adopt.
Okay, what is it? Throw it at me.
I call it the Brumble Patch.
The Brumble Patch?
The Brumble Patch.
All right, please explain to me the reasoning behind this.
Because it's that little bit where sometimes there's a little bit of hair, and sometimes you don't get it, and you forget that it's there. Oh my God,
when I'm shaving down there, I'm just like, I always make sure to shave there because I always notice when a girl doesn't shave there. And it doesn't bother me, but it's like, oh, I notice that you don't shave there, so like you're probably going to notice that I don't shave there, so I need to shave there. So I pay attention to it.
So, Brumble Patch. You you agree?
A rumble patch?
You You're confusing me now when you say the wrong thing. Brumble patch.
Grumble patch.
Brumble.
Grumble.
Brumble. Brumble patch.
Brumble. Brumble patch.
Holy fuck.
All right. Wait. All right. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Because a brumble patch is kind of like thorns and
it's like a
bushes
landing
and
strip,
thickets.
but it's like the exit for the landing strip. A brumble patch. All right, I can get down with that. That's fine. I don't do a lot of butt stuff, so like, it doesn't really bother me. Like,
but it's still there. It's just, it's not that you do stuff. It's just that, what's the name of it? You know, brumble patch.
I don't know if I've noticed like a lot of. Have you encountered a lot of girls with a lot of hair down there?
I don't think I ever noticed it. But like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I've never really noticed like a significant amount. Like, I'll notice like a patch, but that's because it's a patch. Like, all of us get patches. What the fuck ever.
But I just like the term brumble patch. My friend calls it. My friend calls it the driving range.
Driving range.
Because that's where you hit your balls.
See, that's why we have balls on strap-ons, Robbie. Because no, it there's like a difference.
No.
If you're doing it from behind, the balls hit the clit. So it's like, that's good. You want that, right? Because then you don't have to use your arm power to like reach around and like rub it as you're like trying to like pull her hair. Okay.
I like to think of it more as a counterbalance. Like they're weighted. They're weighted.
As he said
balls.
that, he was stroking his beard like he was like fucking.
I don't have a beard.
Like Aristotle or something. He was like, I like to con.
You don't worry about what I call it.
You're the one who brought this subject up. What were we talking about? IPAs?
Yes, we were talking about IPAs, and then I changed the subject because IPAs, that the basics can get boring. I'll be honest with you.
Listen, Robbie, to be honest with you, I didn't look up a whole lot because there's a lot out there to IPAs. And this is the point in my research that I hit that I was like, I can go in a lot of different directions. Before our beer break, I talked about lupulins.
Yes.
And that's what gives the acidic, bitter taste to our IPAs. So that's based on the hops. But then I could take it like to the hops, and there's Citra, there's Mosaic, there's Cascade, there's Galaxy. There's so many fucking different types of hops out there. I could take our whole episode to just hops. I could take our episode to just like IBUs and like the fact that IPAs have a higher IBU, and we could talk about how there are some IBUs that are higher than 120, but like 120 is the only level of IBUs that human consumption can really differentiate until. We could talk about hop bursting, which is where you just add a lot of hops like after a short boil, which just gives it a lot of hop flavor, but it's like not as much bittering. There are so many directions that we could take IPAs, so I think we're gonna have to do a couple spin-offs, but next episode, look for something different.
Spinoffs? Are we a sitcom now? What's going on?
Yes. It's raining really hard outside right now.
Next time on the Brew Interviews.
Next time on the Brew Interviews.
Next time.
What are we talking about next week, Robbie? Do we know?
No, we don't have a fucking clue.
All right. Well, we'll figure that out. Also, we're probably going to have some episodes coming to you with like actual interviews.
I wouldn't advertise that yet.
All right. Well, what do you want to talk about, Robbie? How do you want to end this?
Let me think.
Yeah. So, those are all the different directions that we could take these IPAs.
Those IBUs.
IBUs. Well, I looked at my notes and I saw IBUs, so that's what I said. So there's a lot of different directions that we can take IPAs. If you want to hear a specific one, please reach out to us. Like, let us know what you want to hear. We're here for you. We're just talking to each other. Other than that, I was going to drink this bright double IPA from Treehouse tonight, which is just a triple hopped version of what I just drank. But I don't think that I can do that and give you a a reliable review. So Robbie, I don't know if you have anything else to say tonight, but I definitely fucking don't.
Before I close out the show, I'd like to say thank you to Mitch for being a patron for this show. If you want to become a patron yourself, you can go over to patreon.com/thebrewinterviews and you can pledge a certain amount of money for a certain kind of reward. Just kind of FYI. How about the show a little bit?
We have what, 5 or 6 different tiers? We have
I
the
think 5.
$2, $5, $15, $30. If you want to be Bala, we have 100.
If you want to sponsor the entire show, if you want to pick the beer, you want to pick what we talk about, you want to pick the fave fives, go there. You can do that if you really want to. I don't recommend it, but you can do that.
Don't say you don't recommend it. Please, if you want to send us beer, send us beer. Please reach out. I would love to drink a beer that you like. Let me know what it is. All we want is people to tell us what they love.
If you are a rich child of a beer baron, go for it. I think that's a good idea.
Unless it's Anheuser-Busch, then fuck you.
Then it's Anheuser-Busch.
No, just kidding.
Yeah. No, I'd still take their fucking money. Fuck them. And I would donate it to a local brewery.
Yeah. Well, we were in cahoots with a couple breweries. Maybe we'll have some interviews coming to you pretty soon. Maybe you'll be on the brews, so donate to our Patreon.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah. All right. It's past 1 a.m., so I'm ready to go to bed.
Folks, talked about a lot today. By a lot, I mean a little. We pretty much just talked about IPAs. What is an IPA? How do you make an IPA? How do you drink an IPA? And why do we enjoy IPAs so much? If you have any opinions, send us an email at thebrewinterviews@gmail.com. Let us know what your favorite IPAs are. For the Brew Interviews, I'm Robbie.
I'm Lauren.
Good night.
This has been the Brew Interviews, a bi-weekly podcast about craft beers coast to coast with Lauren and Robbie.
Burn there, little cat dog.